Thanks, Caroline. A load of earnings delivered this morning. The top one for me has got to be BP. Profit in at a 34% jump on a second quarter. Perhaps more importantly, the oil giant has significant investments in Russia. That we know, and a man that knows it well is Ryan Chilcote. He's got the details on that. Also joining us for an investor's perspective is Yannick Naud. He's a portfolio manager with Sturgeon Capital. Guys, welcome to the show. Ryan, as always, a pleasure. Tell me, top line.
Yeah, top line is they made more money than they made last year in the same quarter. They beat expectations. This is almost a boring set of results, which is exactly what Bob Dudley wants. The only thing in there that I think is slightly interesting is, I guess I should say debt's down a little bit and cash flow's good. But the only really interesting thing from my perspective is way down in the earnings statement, a sort of bite-sized little disclaimer that they do have this relationship. They own 20% of Rosneft, Russia's largest oil company, one oil company that has had its access to American capital markets restricted, its CEO sanctioned, and we may see more action against the company today. And, you know, Yannick and I were talking about this as we went in. You know, if you're a fund manager, what do you do with that? You know, because the metrics look pretty good. And
all in all, it's a very good set of results. Probably a lot of it because of cost cutting. You have to keep in mind that the dividend of Rosneft is only 2% of cash flows, so it's not a big problem in terms of cash flow. But you have a lot of cash locked into Russia right now, and it's probably not the best place to allocate capital right now.
And Yannick, when you look at the statement that Ryan's talking about, if new sanctions are imposed on Russia, it could have a material adverse impact not just on the relationship but also on the investment in Rosneft. Then I ask myself, well, what sanctions? What sanctions would end with that result?
Well, I mean, if you have to look, even if you look at the sanctions existing today from the states, Rosneft have to refinance around 13.6 billion of debt this year. Most of it is not in the bond market, it's in the loan market. It's one loan with Mizuho maturing this year. I'm not too sure that Japanese bank will continue to roll this kind of debt going forward. So Rosneft will not be able to rely on BP as well to fund itself. They will probably rely on China in order to increase their borrowing.
Right. Yeah, just to build on what we were talking about earlier. Big meeting yesterday over the telephone and a video conference with Renzi, Cameron, Merkel, Obama, and just about anyone else that matters here in Europe. What were they talking about? Have we got any details? And what does it mean for today and the potential?
Well, we got very little. I mean, they said basically that they all agree that Russia has not lived up to its commitments in terms of de-escalating the conflict. What is extraordinary is that the five of them got together to begin with. This is a video conference. It takes a lot of planning to get five heads of state. Interesting that they included the Italians. That suggests to me that they wanted real sort of broad base of support. So we have the EU meeting today. Are we going to get sanctions? The expectation is that we are going to get more sanctions against Russia. I wouldn't exclude the possibility that it could take longer than people expect. You know, sometimes that is how it goes in Brussels. I kind of wonder if what they were discussing is a little bit broader than what the EU does. The fact that he had, that Obama had these European heads of state on the phone, you know, he can't have all 28 in the EU on, but he's got the big guys, suggests to me maybe they were also working on a plan B. So what if they don't get the unanimity they need within the EU? Maybe at least they can agree on something amongst themselves as a G7 to act against Russia. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see at least something today.
Yeah, plenty to discuss, guys. Thank you very much, Ryan. Yannick Naud of Sturgeon Capital stays with us. Here's a look at what else is coming up on the move this morning.